Okay, so we just finished the Supernatural Productivity Day. I'm just doing a little adjustments with the lights.
Mhm.
And what was today like for you?
So it started out, I was a reluctant starter.
Yeah, talk about that. Like, what was stopping you? What made you reluctant?
So what made me reluctant was like, why do I need to do this? Like, why do I need to come to Althea for this specific purpose? Like, I get the coaching, I get, the full day intensive, but why productivity? Like, I can be productive on my own. And so I was a very reluctant starter, even though the Holy Spirit was like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And even
Mm.
5 minutes before we got started, I was like, and my husband was like, you better get in there because you're doing this, like I've resisted completely. Like my husband's like, I'll take the kids, you'll have the house to yourself. And the whole time I'm thinking, I can be productive on my own. I can be productive on my own. But turns out I can't be productive on my own to this magnitude and depth in the spirit. And that's why, so that's why, I'm thankful that I was obedient, even though I didn't understand, because you're not going to understand until you actually execute it. It's kind of like we want God to explain how he's going to part the waters like he did with Joshua, well, with Moses. But he's like, no, you're a Joshua generation. When you get in the water, I'll part it. So that's kind of what happened today. So I jumped in, and what I got out of it was like way more than cleaning your office or setting up files. Like it's so much deeper than that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know what? I'm still stuck on I was obedient in the spirit or obedient to the spirit, because Holy Spirit was telling you, your husband was encouraging you,
Right.
but you had to make that decision to be obedient to the spirit.
Right.
So you said you got so much more done than cleaning your office. What did you get done? Like, what are you walking away with?
I'm walking away with a finer tuned ear to the spirit. And I'm walking away with eyes that are open to see things that I didn't see before that were always there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Break that down.
So I've been praying about some things with my business. I've been praying about, abundance and finance and all this and contracts, they need to come and things like that. And I, haven't really been getting the answers that I want to get. And today I got the answers. And the biggest answer was open your eyes. It's right there. So through an exercise of obedience, and for me, it was cleaning my office and rearranging things and getting it to be a space that I covet other people having, thinking I could never get my office to look like this until I buy this lamp, I buy this organizer, I need a new desk. And the Lord was like, nope. And he just kind of was like, change the curtains. I'm like, I don't have no curtains. He was like, go downstairs. You have some curtains. I'm like, oh, I forgot about these. And he was like, go get that side table. That side table is not going to look good right there. Just put it there. Okay. No, that lamp that's been wrapped up. And so through that process of transformation, God was like, you see what you're doing? If you clear the clutter and obey, I will show you who is already on your books that you need to contact, who you already have a relationship with that you don't even know. You're sitting on a 10K contract. You're sitting on a you're sitting on it, but you don't know because you have too much clutter and you need to declutter. And so it was an exercise in the spirit for what he's going to do in my business, but it was like cleaning my office. So it was so deep.
Right. I mean, it was so fantastic how you broke this down. Like it was an exercise in the spirit that I actually had to do physically.
Yes.
Right? It wasn't, because sometimes we may think the only exercise in the spirit is fasting or praying or going to a revival, right? Or going to retreat. Like that's the only way that we can exercise the spirit. But for you, as a Christ-centered female entrepreneur, the exercise in the spirit came from a physically
yes
moving in the way that God wanted you to move.
Yeah.
Because
for sure he said that. All as it is in the natural, so it is in the spirit. Like, you didn't know you had really nice curtains. You also don't know that this particular contact is the one that's gonna, you know what I mean? Will resist that because it all looks familiar, or it's all cluttered, or we think our abundance is coming from the outside.
Wow. Like, I mean, wow, right? And it's so fantastic because I know in the beginning your why, with, the exercise, it's like, why are you doing this project? Right. Was to clean out the mental space. But let's talk about that. Like, what, can you just explain that? And let's talk about that, because that's what's coming up for me.
So when you have so much going on in your mind, like all your schedules and all that. And I was always taught your physical space, and that's your computer space, your, the desktop, that is a manifestation of what is going on in your soul, like in your head, right? So if you have 50,000 unanswered emails, that's clutter, and you don't have the space to really receive any new information. So God is like, you're cluttered. You're praying for revelation. You're praying for your eyes to be open so that you can level up. But if I tell you what to do to level up, it's just going to become another thing on the top of the cluttered pile. Like all those clothes you have sitting on your bed, if I give you some new revelation, you're going to toss it over there like you toss your old clothes. And I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not giving you new revelation until you give me the space I need for
you. I'm thinking about a couple things. One is like, for those who are struggling about God's not giving me revelation, well, he actually is not, it's like he's in a holy relationship with you. And what he's revealing to you is not garbage. So he is not going to give something to you until you make the room and make the space.
Right.
We can think about Jonathan McReynolds, like, make room and make space for God so he can reveal the answers and the solutions and the strategies and the step-by-step. But you haven't made room for him physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You haven't made room for him. And so he is, quote unquote, not answering your prayers. But he actually is, because he's told you what to do.
Yeah, because what he's trying to do is increase your capacity to receive.
Wow.
Right? That's what he's trying to do. And right now, you're at maximum capacity with crap. Mentally, physically, you don't have the capacity to receive the abundance that you keep asking me for. So I'm giving you these seemingly non-related activities in the natural, so that you can open the capacity for me to pour into you what you need to level up. So I don't want to clean my room. I don't want to go through these files. I don't want to spend the day just sitting here making appointments. Like, this is so dumb. But that's the enemy, because the enemy knows that what God is trying to do is increase your capacity to receive, because he can't give you something that you don't have the capacity for. Because you'll either wreck yourself, or wreck others. So he's like, this productivity day is a preparation for what you're about to receive, and should be your new normal. Because guess what? The more I give you, the more the enemy is going to come and try to distract you. And, the other revelation I got just sitting at the end is, if this gets cluttered again, the productivity day is available for you. And just know you need the help. And that's okay, because with the help and with the coach and with the assistance, you will find new revelation. So this is not, I guess that's what he was saying, this is not one and done. Because the more you give, the more the enemy is going to come at you with what he comes at you. And that's not to beat yourself up, but it's just to say, okay, when's my productivity day? Because I'm feeling like, because it's going to come in like a flood, and we need the help. And it's the supernatural piece. It's not just productivity. So there's a difference. It's supernatural productivity. It's very different.
And I am so excited because, the last portion of this day, and we'll talk a little bit about it, you were like, well, what should I do? Right? Because you were at, I don't know, I'm going to guess, like you were probably at 85%, maybe 90% done.
Right.
And there was a part of you that wanted to move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, let's go.
We're done. Like, let's check this off. This is a wrap. And I remember, you're like, well, I'm not quite sure. And I felt in my spirit, finish what's done and spend the time there. And I saw like your reaction wasn't of huge excitement. Yeah. And you are who you are, always obedient, right? Like you do what, God says. So that was really, really powerful how he like encouraged you, right? And reassured you of that. And we know that's of God because the enemy condemns, shames, right? And God encourages and does that. For those who missed it, what did they miss?
They missed it. They missed it. They missed it. They missed their chance to get answers. And a lot of us Christ-centered female entrepreneurs are seeking answers because what we want to do in our business is bring glory to the Father. So we're always praying, God, show me how I can bring you more glory. God, show me how I can. And a lot of times his answer is do a supernatural productivity day. And you're like, what does that have to do with more contracts? You know what I mean? And so in being obedient to the process, because it's a process. And oftentimes we don't like processes. But when processes are in place, abundance has a space.
Wow. That's a true tweetable. I love it. You are not unlike many clients who have multiple kids, right? 4 kids under 10, a husband, so talk about, because in the beginning, you're like, okay, I didn't fast. She recommended that I fast. I didn't know exactly what to do. I have my kids, like I shouldn't show up. But for, the moms and the wives who are saying like, that's a lot to maybe put on hold for a day. Or for those who may say, well, I didn't prepare, what do you want to tell them?
So 2 things. Your husband will find you more attractive. Don't ask me why. But halfway, I was almost done and he comes in and he's like, give me this big hug and kiss. And he's like, oh, it creates the space for romance. When you're not, so say it was finances, right? And that's your thing that you need to get under control. When that is no longer a source of contention in your mind, it frees you up more to be available to love and be loved. I know I once did this clean sink challenge, right? And it was like clean your sink every day for like 30 days before you go to bed. And I was like, I want to do that. And I did it. And I can't tell you what it did for my marriage. It doesn't seem like it connects, but it all does in the spirit. And so, yes, it took effort to create this time and carve out this time, but the benefits for my marriage, like, I just feel like there was more romance today, which is weird because we weren't even together that long. But just when he came in, halfway done, he was like, ooh, girl. Then he's like, oh, let me leave you alone so you can do your thing. They can perceive when we are obedient, and God will bless that. So he blesses our obedience. He touches the hearts of our husbands and draws us closer. And we all know the best form of evangelism is a godly marriage. So in the spirit, you're wrecking shop in the spirit with your marriage by being supernaturally productive. Does it make sense? No, but it works. And as far as your kids are concerned, they will then at least for my kids, they see mommy is serious about her business. She's not this stay-at-home mom who's just hobbying. Like, this is mommy's got a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know me. Whenever I see what our work together does for your marriage, I literally want to be in tears. Like, it literally warms my heart in such a way I don't even know how to express it. So you just sharing this to me, and it's so funny because I remember saying, I can't wait till Arthur sees it, but I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I just knew he would be happy because I know he's such a supporter of you, you know, of you and your business and your growth and us working together. But to hear that is such, I really hope it encourages the other wives who are listening, you know,
for sure.
This. And also it was very interesting to notice your boys who came in, you know, and there wasn't like hug, you know, they weren't like grabbing for you. They were really respectful.
They were, and they were like, you know, typically if I'm on a webinar or something, I'm like, hit mute, like, get out of here. Like, you know, they came in, they saw that, you know, I was on, and I said, Mommy needs 10 more minutes. And they were like, we love what you did to the room. This is awesome. Oh, you're working? Okay. And left.
Right. It was like, it's like they sensed, you know, the shift that happened.
Yes.
It did have an impact. Like they sensed that there's a shift that happened in this room, in this atmosphere.
Right. Like, yeah.
And I'm going to abide by it. Right.
Right. Yeah. And then, like, when it was done, my husband comes in and, you know, gives me a big hug. This is so awesome. He was like, let me go watch my videos. You know what I mean? Because he's also trying to, you know, get his own stuff off the ground. So I come out and he's out there with his notebook watching videos, you know, motivation and taking notes. I'm like, so it rubs off.
Well, we have to, this is a good segue. You know, for you and others, but particularly for you, you know, now we're really broadcasting it. You know, I've shared that what God has revealed to me that you are, and you've confirmed it, the Holy Spirit, that you are the one to take the family to the next level. I don't know why I'm like hesitating my words. I mean, what if I've always said, like, you're the one who's going to bring wealth to the family. You're the, you know, the one who's going to break generational curses. And if this wasn't what you just shared, evidence of the impact that you have, right, on your family, I don't know what is. So now what are you thinking about that statement? What do you want to share about that? And then,
I mean, wow. But it's true. I mean, it is true. It's intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. And I think when God puts that mandate on you to usher your family into another level of wealth, the enemy will come and try to, okay, he's not going to get you to sin and blatantly just give up on your business, but he is going to use his number one tool, which is distraction and then discouragement. So because I have all this clutter, I'm distracted. And now because I don't see the contracts coming, I don't know who I'm supposed to call, I don't have my system in place, I'm discouraged. So then I become a hobbyist, which is not a business. And the hobby is not going to take you to that next level of wealth. And so it is a high calling and it is intimidating. But he's like, I have not left you comfortless. I have people like yourself that are spirit-led to help you, you know what I mean? And to usher you, because the space between where you are and the next level is always a person, always. And so you think you're going to do it on your own, you know, this is what God is just downloading onto me. You know, you think you're going to do it on your own, you're just going to get there on your own, and you can't. Because a person always ushers you into your next level assignment. That's the way God set it up. You can read it all through the Bible. It was always, even John the Baptist ushered in Jesus. So he even followed the protocol. So when you are spirit-led and you have such a high call and such a high mandate as far as ushering your entire family into a new season, as a woman, as a submitted wife, you are going to need assistance in order to do that, because the enemy is coming for you, guns blazing, because he doesn't want you to get there, because there's freedom there, and there's, you know, prosperity there, and there's God's glory there, which is the ultimate thing, you know, and now God is glorified in your marriage because you guys are closer. God is glorified in your children because they're radiating and obeying, you know, and God is glorified in your home because now it's a space where you can welcome people and they can sense, wow, this is not just a beautiful space, but his presence is here. And so it is a high call, but, you know, I just hear God saying, I have not left you comfortless. You know, the Holy Spirit is your divine spotter in the gym, right? In your mental gym. And he's also given us physical divine spotters to help us as Christ-centered female entrepreneurs to level up, who have been there, have done that, have gone through it, bought the t-shirt and the mug, and now want to bring you there. But you just have to yield, even when it doesn't make sense, even when you feel like, you know, this is not going to yield anything, but actually it's going to yield so much. So much.
Wow, I love it. It's also, you know, what I'm hearing in the spirit, confirmation in terms of getting help in other areas of your life, laundry, you know, mommy help, you know, housekeeping, other areas that where you need other people to help you. So I that's what I heard in the spirit, and you know, I mean, I'm not trying to be cryptic for those who are watching. It's something Orinthia and I have been working on for her, building out her entire support team,
right?
Which she's been doing. Yeah, and the one thing I want to talk about, which is so good. So there was a lot that you said, and I hope everyone caught that. And then the other thing that I noticed through this day, and we want to talk about, this day wasn't that long, right? Like, you know,
it wasn't like it flew by.
Right. It flew by. It wasn't, the whole block of time wasn't even 8 hours, and there was breaks in there, right?
And it wasn't daunting. It wasn't daunting at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah. That's good. That's good to know. So it's like, it wasn't too overwhelming. It wasn't, you know, all day. It wasn't, a lot got done. The one thing I definitely saw within and then we'll talk about this, is your transformation, how, and you just said it, where at one point you didn't see your growth. So you're talking about, you know what I'm like, it's always just very interesting that through the day, you begin to recognize your growth and appreciate it more than where you started, both in your relationship and intimacy with God, and then also with your sales and the systems that you have in place. So talk about you just noticing your growth from the day, like on both. I don't know if I'm saying it.
No, that makes sense. You begin to question less and yield more, right?
Wow.
So in the beginning, when you're resistant, you're like, okay, God, why do I have to do that? Like, for example, I was like, okay, well, I have a lot of mail that's unopened. I got a lot of paperwork, and I'm sure the paperwork needs to be done. And, you know, I got to get to the paperwork. And God's like, no, you need to do the bid. And I'm like, why do I got to do the bid? That doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? But then as I'm doing the bid, he starts to speak about certain things. You see how I did that? As it is in the natural, so it is in the spirit. You see? And so when we get to the end, you know, toward the end of the day, and God is like, change the curtains. I'm like, all right, where the curtains? Where they at? Because I don't even, you know, I only, you know, don't have short curtains. I have full length curtains. He's like, nope, you do. Go to the basement, turn right, turn left. Here they go. They fit. Like, so you start to yield more. And then the more you yield, the more God can say, look, here it is. Here's this. Here's that. Here's this. You know, like for me, he's like, you don't even see, Like when I sat in the room and it was done and it was that space, like, you know, that magazine, I'm a HGTV junkie, that space where you want to grab a cup of coffee and, you know, pretend like you're reading a book or something. He said, you see this level of space, magazine quality space. He was like, this is the kind of speaker you are. Open your computer. And I opened my computer and the first email was from the conference that I got accepted to speak at in Switzerland. And he was like, you are an international speaker. That's what you are. This room is a reflection of who you are. This is your new normal. Welcome to the new normal. Like, that was like, what? You thought you were just cleaning your office, but actually I'm ushering you into a new level and this space reflects who you are. That other space, that's a scattered, speak sometimes here, you know, get a love offering of $10 or, you know, get a free meal, like throw stuff everywhere. No, this is a Christ-centered female entrepreneur who is making waves in the kingdom internationally. And that's what I want you to see. And you could not see that about yourself in this space. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You know, God is so good because God has been telling me and told me that your best, the way that I can best serve you as your coach and mentor is help you see yourself as he sees you. Mm-hmm. And so what you just experienced is you beginning to see yourself as God sees you. And this is not a new contract. I mean, you've had this it's relatively new, but you've had it for a month or 2 months, right? Like,
right. But I just kind of was like, right. It wasn't, I'm not getting
right.
it. You know, you start to make all these excuses. So, because it's clutter, it's just, it goes on the pile. Like, you don't even see that this gem that you have is worth all of this until you clear the clutter. And like, I'm looking at the page and I'm seeing myself and it says, check out all our international speakers, and there's my name. Like, what? Like, but again, you didn't have the space. So it just became a thing.
Right. Right, exactly. So it didn't matter that other people were telling you, didn't matter it was already there.
Right.
Didn't matter. You just didn't have the mental capacity to even see it, hear it. And God needed to take you through ordering your steps and you being obedient and you heeding for you to then really see it. And so we know from this that more is going to be revealed as a result of this day. I am so excited for you as a coach. I'm like so giddy. I'm so proud that you were obedient to God's instruction to show up for the Supernatural Productivity Day. And, you know, my other coach clients are going to thank you because what was once offered quarterly, I'm now strongly considering offering it more frequently, you know, whether that's monthly or bi-monthly, and really you have encouraged me to do so. Yeah. So, you know, they all thank you in advance.
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah. So, oh my God, this is so good. So I guess like before, we should have done this beginning, but just as we end it, just say who you are, say what you do. And for those who
don't know me.
Right, exactly.
So
who don't
my
know you
name
yet.
is Orinthia Harris, and I'm a STEM consultant. And what I do is I go around and I offer STEM trainings to schools and organizations so that people can enhance their classroom lessons and make them more STEM friendly. And I specialize in early childhood STEM education, but I do a lot of other things as well, but that's my specialty, teacher training.
Yes. Internationally. Right.
Apparently.
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much. And, looking forward to the next one.
Yes, it's going to be great.